I ran to the back room, grabbed my camera, grabbed my everything, and I looked around. I didn't know where to look, and I saw this big wide hallway where they would bring all the musical instruments, as this was a hard rock. So there's this big hallway where they would wheel, like if Leonard Skinner played, they would wheel all their equipment. And I ran down it, and I made a right, and then I made a left, and then I made a right. And it was just these big white walls with like a metal guard. So when you're rolling stuff, it hits the... And I didn't know where... I thought I was going to come out on the other side of a mall and say, I don't even know where I am and what city or what corner. I just kept running, making right, left. Watch this. I get to 2 metal doors, and it says, do not open. I say, this. If the fire alarm goes off, I'm just going to keep running. I open the door an inch. Nothing goes off. And 3 feet away from me.
And we're back. Hey, everybody. One of the most popular guests on the Pocket Party podcast. People love this guy. Here he is, Mr. John DiResta.
The one and only.
That's right, man. Straight off of Hulu. The show is running now, right, on Hulu? John?
Yeah, I got a show on Hulu called Hammered with John and Jimmy DiResta. We made about 3 seasons of 50% comedy, 50% building unusual items in a workshop.
That's cool. I'm gonna reveal. I'm gonna show you something. Okay, I haven't cut my hair in 2 weeks and 1 day. Are you ready for the big reveal?
Yeah, drum roll.
All right, because I got to be honest. Every time, like when I showed you, you couldn't see anything, and then last week with my guest, you still couldn't see anything. But now, 2 weeks and 1 day, the light's pretty bright. But let's see if you could see anything. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Look, you're starting to see a little something. Look at that.
I'm starting to see a hat floating around a bald spot.
No, I'm doing that so you could see like because if I go like this, it's still bald, but I got to put something dark back there.
Oh, you mean there's some kind of...
There's some hair up there.
Adolescent.
Look. See that with the high def camera? High def camera, you got to see my hair, and I have to hold something dark behind it so it'll show up. Oh, there it is. There's the hair. Anyways.
It looks like pubic hair on a 12-year-old boy.
I'll probably just edit this part out. And we're back.
What's up? Thanks for having me back.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I'll leave it in, man. It's all I have, my hair growth. My son could see it. He's 12. Probably because he looks up to his dad, and he's like, Dad, I could actually see it. And this is how bad it is, that it's so unseeable. He actually stepped back about 3 feet, and then 6 feet, and then 10 feet, and he kept squinting. He kept going, I can still see it. I can still see it. Can't see it, Dad. So I'm like, all right. If it gets totally ridiculous, I'm just going to shave it again. But for now, what else we got to do, man?
It's unusual, I guess. I can't really see it, but it does grow in, but it's obviously not in every spot, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think the light's too bright, but yeah, it's obviously the hair grows on the side and the back, but that I still shave. But I'm growing sort of a mohawk, if you will.
A no-hawk.
It's a no-hawk. I mean, there's actually hair up there, but no. Here's the part that sucks. It doesn't really grow in right here, like the widow's peak area. It doesn't really start till back there. So but I've been kind of going like this to it.
Oh no, dude. Get along. That's the comedian's peak.
Yeah, the widow's peak, the comedian's peak, where they do the double come over.
Yeah.
Oh my
They let
God.
him meet in the middle, and then it shoots to the moon, Alice.
Boing! That's when all the hair pops in. All right, enough about my hair. You lucky son of a gun. You're having a good night, man. You got the comb out, the brush out. You got the muscle tee with the tat showing. Oh yeah.
Look at that, dude. That's the logo for Coney Island, Brooklyn.
Wow.
Says your mom.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
That's actually cool.
What's
That's
up,
cool.
Clucker?
A lot
Oh,
of
jeez.
a lot of tattoo. Oh, there he goes.
Hold on.
Okay.
Amateur hour. Here we go. Tattoos.
A lot of tattoos you see nowadays, it looks kind of like just like doodles or something. Like they just got their friend to randomly draw different stuff on their body. You know?
Yeah, people do that.
You know what? Somebody did a joke about that. They talked about one of these rappers who had all that stuff on his face, the tattoos on his face. It might be the what's his name, the 6ix9ine or something. Somebody said his face looks like a scribbled on desk at detention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, that guy's a rat. He turned on a lot of people, and now not only is he turned on people, he's now like dissing everybody. He's like being a spoiler. It's kind of a weird. It's a weird angle to take, but
Yeah.
if you have the nerve to take it, it makes a lot of waves.
Yeah. I was for the new viewers, like I said, John's very popular. TV, movies. Before he got any of this big break, he won a contest in New York City, and the reason he won not the reason he won the contest, but I think it was called. Am I going to get this right? New York's Funniest Cop.
Yeah, it was New York's Funniest Cop. It was back in the day before everyone had a contest, and not only was it a contest, heavy quotes, which could be laughed at. It was the first time it was ever thought of or ever done. And New York City at the time had 38,000 active cops, and almost every one of them is funny. And then you had a good 250,000 retired cops, all of them funny.
Wow.
And I won.
You got it. You won. That's awesome, man. It's funny because
there was a bunch of runoffs, and it was down to Joe Badalamenti, who worked in Central Park Precinct, and John DiResta, who worked in the Homeless Outreach Unit and the Transit Police. And when Mike Royce, who went on to write on Raymond for years, and I think he created the show Men of a Certain Age with Raymond. When Mike Royce read the piece of paper, he looked down and said, the first time ever, the winner, New York's Funniest Cop, is Joe DiResta.
But
and I'm like, why is my dad New York's Funniest Cop?
Yeah.
And then he turned the paper and went, oh, from Transit, John DiResta. Because he had Joe Badalamenti and John DiResta mixed up, so we didn't know who won.
Oh, no.
He said Joe DiResta. In my mind, your mind is a sick thing. It went right to why is my dad New York's Funniest Cop? And then he said it was, when he said, oh, from Transit, I knew I had won. So believe it or not, it had a little bit of cachet. A lot of people can look back and say, geesh, I'm over here now.
Do you ever, when you ever...
contest.
But
hold on. I had just been doing stand-up about a year. And when it came around, it was like, I'm going to win. I went at it. I did set after, like, it turned me into like a crazy set monster, which when you're a new comedian, you'll find, some people will find every excuse in the book to not go. And now I had a reason to work towards. And, I'm still New York's Funniest Cop.
That's right. Have you thought about competing in other police departments' comedy contests?
I have not. I do know this, that I used to do a lot of comedy shows. So you fly into a town, you don't know anyone on the police department, but you're the real deal New York City cop, and they needed a comedian.
Yeah.
And we would do, to make the show a little more exciting, their 2 or 3 funniest guys would come on. Then I would headline. And what would be the first 5 minutes? I'd make fun of their 3 guys, do an imitation of them, and the audience would sop it up with a biscuit. Because it's the ultimate inside joke. We're making fun of the chief that thought he was funny, that couldn't buy a laugh.
That's awesome.
Want to hear one more?
Tell us.
Oceanside PD
Oh.
Christmas party, and I had to miss going to the Playboy Mansion with Tom Likas. I got this gig in Oceanside, $500, police gig, Christmas show. I might have told you this last time. And a guy in the front knew I was a cop, and he had a kilt on, and he was disrespectful. He was like, he couldn't wait. He like 3 jokes in. He's like, yeah, we're not in New York anymore. And I said, dude, you better back it off. Oh, yeah. Oh, just subway cop. Oh, yeah. And he had a kilt on. And you know how they go regimental with no underwears?
Right.
I looked right down. I said, dude, you got to be joking me. With that genitalia, I don't even know if you're a man or a woman.
Killed.
Well, I framed it with that he went regimental and he had no underwears. And then, boom, his genitals looked like he was in between.
And now you would do that in 2020 and they'd be like, canceled.
Yeah, dude, I thought it would never happen to me. In about 6 or 8 months before the pandemic hit,
yeah,
just mentioning the name Caitlyn Jenner and people would scream out, it's none of your business. And it's not a heckle. Now you got the whole audience going, go get her. And you're going to pick on a 70-year-old woman? You know what I mean? Because she's now she's woke. It was a showstopper a few times because I was like,
hey, you know what? I let's for the YouTube audience, you haven't heard this story yet. I think we may have mentioned this, I don't know, like 2 years ago or whatever, but on the audio podcast of Pocket Party. But let's tell this story. You and I had done a Christmas show, or they call them holiday parties. And there's a part of my act where I go, I do the surprise. I go, all the sexy ladies, all the sex, you know what I'm talking about? Where I go, all the sexy ladies, all the sexy ladies. Let me hear you say, and then I pause and I go, and then I get the crowd to do it. I get a lady to do it. And they're all chanting, get her to do it like Marsha, Marsha, or whatever her name was, Marsha. So I walk over to Marsha and I'm like, I go, you go out, you go in. It's like you're running upstairs. And they're like, do it. And I remember I put the mic to her mouth and she's laughing and giggling and I let her catch her breath. I go back in and she went, and everyone laughs because it was close enough because even though she's like, so after the show, they were looking for you. And then, do you remember this? Because I went on first. I'm pretty clean. I was clean. That's, I don't do anything risque, especially at a Christmas party. But I think you had just had surgery. So you were like, do some time, stretch out, do what you got to do. And then you went a little blue and you crushed, though. You crushed, man. You were.
Oh, thanks, dude. You don't remember the crush because that story, I remember that lady that you made that noise made to make the noise. She was the HR person. And she was the woman sitting in this little room in my house on a speakerphone with 3 other people where I said, I won't do dirty jokes. I won't do this. I won't do that. I won't do this. I won't do that. I won't do that. Here's my PayPal. If you want to pay me before the show, I'll give you a little discount. They paid before. And I think every single thing I told her I wouldn't do or say, I did within 30 seconds. And she kept going like this. And I thought she was laughing. I thought on every punchline, this was, I can't take it. Oh, he's so funny. Oh, he's so funny. And what it was, oh, my God, I'm going to get in trouble. Oh, my God, he did a Mexican joke. Oh, my God, he said the word gay. And it took me about halfway. And there was 2 or 3 jokes I swallowed back. Because there was a big, husky girl sitting on the tallest chair you can imagine, right to my right. And she had the shortest mini skirt you ever saw.
Yeah.
And similar to the cop in Oceanside, I was going to say, I see your penis. You may want to be a little discreet. You got a penis.
Yeah.
And if I would have said it matter of fact, like I was warning her just to, straighten out, it would have been killed. And I swallowed that back. And at the end of the show, she chased me down to I think to yell at me and to set me straight, and I ran if you remember, I was hiding behind bushes and I was calling you,
Yeah.
duck down. And you said, I'm with her now. She's chastising me
Right.
for making her make the noise. No
Yeah.
less, she's looking for you. And I said, tell her I'm near your car. I had to take my diabetes medicine.
Yeah, because you were crushing. I remember there was guys, these two big Mexicans. They were like, one guy was standing behind the other guy and he's slapping his back, like, "That's you, Pedro! Oh my God, that's you!" You're talking about North Hollywood and all this kind of stuff. I forget the jokes, but
It was fun, and those are the two guys. They kept like laughing out loud makes you do weird stuff sometimes. Like
yeah.
and they were like hugging, and then like they might have hugged like 2 or 3 times, and I might have pointed them out so everybody saw them. And it was it was sitting there. It was like, it was teed up. It was a 4-run home run in the 9th inning. I just said, look at these two.
You said,
After the show, they're going to play Swallow the Leader.
And they were like, "Oh, that's messed up." They're loving it though. You did something about.
Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty.
Didn't you do something about the Mexican guy hanging onto a Christmas tree on their car or something? Or
I don't remember that. I remember my opening joke saying, "Give it up for your boss," and look at that stupid fucking Christmas sweater. That was my opening joke.
Well, I know that they couldn't find you, so they were talking to me, and she was like, not even the HR person, it was her assistant, and she was like, "You don't ever tell a woman what to do. You were telling a woman what to do. You had the mic and you were like, 'Do it,' and you got the crowd to chant, 'Do it,' and you were telling a woman what to do, and now on Monday there's going to be a line at my door." She goes, "I may have a line at my door of people thinking they can tell me what to do." And I was like, "Oh man, this is like insane." Like,
and especially after I'm up there with the Swallow the Leader and this and that and the mini skirt and the sweater, and you're being a woman isn't being. But the funny thing is, let me explain this to your audience. I've seen you do that before, and when you finally get the person to do this crazy dumb noise, it breaks attention, and it's a huge laugh. It's a very finely crafted piece of comedy.
It really is, and it's like, and it wasn't like I was, I just get.
You weren't telling her to, walk around on all fours.
Right. I know. It's like, come on, man. And I also, at this point, I know when to back off, and there was no point there where I felt like I should back off because they're like, "Do it," and it was probably like the second or third attempt maybe, and she's laughing, and it was unbelievable.
Here's another thing I never told you about. I ran to the back room, grabbed my camera, grabbed my everything, and I looked around. I didn't know where to look, and I saw this big wide hallway where they would bring all the musical instruments. As this was a Hard Rock, if you remember, during the day.
Oh yeah, it was at the Hard Rock. Yep.
So there's this big hallway where they would wheel, like if Leonard Skinner played, they would wheel all their equipment. And I ran down it, and I made a right, and then I made a left, and then I made a right. And it was just these big white walls with like a metal guard. So when you're rolling stuff, it hits the... And I didn't know where... I thought I was going to come out on the other side of a mall and have to call you and say, I don't even know where I am and what city or what corner. I just kept running, making right, left. Watch this. I get to 2 metal doors, and it says, "Do not open." I said, fuck this. If the fire alarm goes off, I'm just going to keep running. I open the door an inch. Nothing goes off. And 3 feet away from me, outside, not knowing where I was going to be, is you being berated by 2 women at the front door of the Hard Rock. I don't know if you know that. I was 36 inches away from you, seeing them berate you, and I shut the door slightly and went back in and found like a whole nother exit. And hid behind a bush. When you called,
you're behind the bush.
Said, she wants to speak to you right now. And I said, tell her I took my diabetes medicine and I'm not feeling good.
That was crazy. Gosh. Okay, let me ask you this. Have you heard any rumblings about defund the police? Like there's what they say on the news. There's the activists are saying defund the police. Have you talked to any retired cops or I mean,
they all just think it's ridiculous. A few things I see on Facebook, they think it's ridiculous. And now there was a couple of women, actually African-American women, that dumped black paint all over a yellow Black Lives Matter sign in New York. And she got on her hands and knees and rubbed the black paint. And she was saying, refund the police.
Wow.
Not refund and give the money back. I guess, yes, refund. Not refund them $5, but reinstate the funding.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So I just know that crime's going up wildly, and we live in a very crazy time where, certain people are siding with criminals. I mean, shootings are going up every single weekend in every big city. It's not stopping.
I think they just released 8,000 more prisoners or something because of coronavirus, which is, I mean, come on, man, more prisoners being released. And
yeah, it's crazy. I heard this on one of the talk shows that very, 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 0.00001% of people commit crime. But if you keep letting them out and they don't get in trouble for it, they're going to do it more.
Yeah. Because there's a law, I think, in California, you could steal up to $900 and they'd let you go or something like that. I'm not really
Dude, you can hit a cop over the head with like a hatchet handle, an axe handle, and get out in an hour.
Don't try it at home, folks. Yeah. You? Now, what made you even want to be a cop? You don't even remind me of a cop in the least. Was it just a money thing? Were you like, I can make a living?
It was. I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was. I really had no direction. I mean, I wanted to be a comedian and actor, and I didn't have the balls. So I became a New York City cop. That was easy. No. I was living in Huntington Beach, California, which you don't know that, in the summer of '84. And my dad called and said, look, I registered you for the police test. I registered you. Come on out. You have a steady income, a pension, medical benefits. And I thought it was an interesting choice, now when I look back, as just a hip, funky, kind of cool way to make a living that's laid out right there. It's like it's right there if you want it. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? And you get a gun, you get a badge, you get out of tickets. You could tell great, funny stories. Every night is an adventure.
How old were you at that time? How old were you at that time?
I was 19, 20. And watch this. I was talking about the New York City Police Department. The whole 2-3 years I lost weight. I straightened every ticket out. I got all my taxes done. How about this? I had a screw in my ankle this long in my ankle that had to come out. You can't have no metal parts in your body to get on the NYPD. So I go to get it removed thinking I'm going to get surgery. I'm there for 3 days. I brought a duffel bag. I'm 6 feet from the entrance. The guy goes, yeah, lay down right there. I go, and do what? He goes, take off your sock. I go, dude, what are you talking about? Are we going to go back through this hallway into the hospital? He goes, no, I'm going to give you some Novocaine, and I'm going to use this. And I'm not joking. An Allen key that your dad would have in the top of his toolbox with a red handle, and proceeded to go like this on my ankle.
And he just started.
And that was the metal squeaking in my bone.
Ooh, okay. You know about this, right? Of course, you know about this. But for the audience, the way to remember, if you're tightening a screw or loosening it up, do you know the rhyme? Do you remember the rhyme?
Yeah, right to tight, left to loosen.
Yeah. Oh, I always knew it as lefty loosey, righty tighty, lefty.
No one does it that way ever. I never heard that in my life.
You never heard righty. Wait, what, now you got. See, look at this guy's very convincing. You never heard righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Never. I grew up in Long Island. Right to tight, left to loose. Yours is confusing me and making me feel gay.
It's West Coast, bro. Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Dude, that sounds like something you did in your summer camp when you were finding yourself. Back when you had red pubic hair.
Hey, it's coming back in, bro.
So listen, I did all this work. I dedicated years. I was excited. And guess what happened? I got put in the transit police. 1 out of 10 guys gets put in transit. The other 9 go to the NYPD. And you have no choice. And you work in the subway for the rest of your life, not in the NYPD, in the New York City Transit Police. It's like getting a sitcom with ABC and Disney, moving to LA, and they switch you to UPN.
That would never happen.
I'm the last in line. I'm the king of the underdogs.
So what he's saying, guys, is it happened in his sitcom world and it also happened in his real life. So when you join the NYPD in your mind, before you join, you're thinking, oh, I'll be, what did you picture? You didn't picture being in the subway. You pictured.
Not at all. I pictured having a partner that became my best friend on earth named Mike. And me and Mike were buddies, and our wives would be best friends, and we would be stepfathers to each other's kids, and we would grow old together, and I would buy a house in Long Island. And I didn't know if I'd be a detective. I didn't know if I'd be in aviation or mounted or own, how about a Harley Davidson, and you're a cop? You know what I mean? A decoy unit. Yeah. I didn't know where I was going to go. And then, I was open to all this adventure. When they said transit, it was like getting hit by a car. All you thought of was puddles of human piss, bums, and smelly subway incidents, and radios that don't work. And then you thought of more piss and more bums. And then when you got on the job and saw what it really was, it was piss and bums and douchebag supervisors, guys that were the worms and the maggots and the losers of their high school. When they became cops, they were losers, maggots. They were picked on by guys like me to no end. And then the day they become sergeant, they get even with every single person through John DiResta, because he's a loudmouth asshole. It was brutal. It was torture, and it was 12 years.
Wow. Did you have a partner?
No. No Mike. No house in Long Island. Watch this, dude. I got on at 21. At 22, I took the test again. Medical, physical, everything. Get naked. They check your anus. They check your balls. They check your ankle. Watch this. They wanted I was already a cop, but they still wanted a blood sample, a urine sample, and a stool sample. So I gave them my underwear.
Oh!
I took everything again, and guess what? I got assigned again. I waited in line. I was already a cop. I had a gun and a badge. I was between shifts.
Yeah.
I cleared out my locker because I was going to switch to the NYPD that night. Guess what I got for the second time on my 23rd birthday? Welcome to the transit police.
Really?
Take a seat or sign that paper and leave.
They just really wanted you to be a transit?
No, it was a random thing. It was random.
Oh.
And I cried. When the guy gave me transit, I cried. That's a real story. Tears down my face. Down my eyes, Clucker. Down my eyes. I had tears down my eyes, Clucker. You know what that's from?
No.
I killed at a show. Killed in Magic Mountain. And a Mexican guy came up with a big handlebar mustache, and he goes, down my eyes, Clucker, tears down my eyes. And you know who he was?
Who?
Remember the 44-minute shootout on Laurel Canyon with the two crazy Russian guys?
Yeah.
This was one of the cops they shot. He got grazed in the head. Oh. Down my eyes, Clucker, tears down my eyes. So I'm standing there. I'm 23 years old. I get transit for the second time. And the guy goes, hey, man, I'm transit. I'm plain clothes. I got 5 years on the job. It ain't that bad. He thought I was a civilian. I said, dude, I'm transit and it sucks. He goes, yeah, dude, I'm sorry. And I had to watch this. I had to go back to my precinct with my duffel bag after I had told everybody to flip off. I'm going to the real job.
Upstairs. I'm going to be working.
Yeah, I'm going upstairs.
Yeah. I'll be working sea level. Gosh.
Dude, they called us Chud. You know why?
No.
We were cannibalistic humanoid subdwellers. Something like that. They called us tunnel rats.
I got a couple. I put it out that you're going to be on the podcast, and I said, "Are there any questions?" And
go ahead.
I got a couple questions. Hold on. Oh, you were on Cops on the previous guys. Go to the link below on the playlist, and you'll see John DiResta last time mentioned that he was on Cops. Somebody messaged me. They DM me. They go, "Hey, he said he was on Cops. You didn't follow up." What? So
okay, the homeless outreach, the New York City Transit Police Homeless Outreach Unit, they did an episode of Cops in like 92, 93, and they went out with the A-team. They went down in the tunnels and looked for homeless people with the trains roaring by, but with the A-team, the lieutenant, the guys that, like, they took anything like that. There was like a group of guys that got to do it. But in the beginning of the show, in the first minute, they showed us all at roll call. You guys go pick up the sandwiches. You guys are going to go to Bellevue. You guys are going to go to Bed-Stuy. You already got a client. You got the Onion. He's already called. We had a client stunk so bad he was called the Onion. You got the Onion. He's on Queens Boulevard. And while everyone's writing everything down, getting ready to go out and do police work, you see me, they cut to me, and I'm like this, just leaning against the copy machine. Now, years later, my wife and I are on a vacation in San Diego, coming up at 7 o'clock on San Diego's Channel 7. Cops, the New York City Transit Police Homeless Outreach Unit.
Whoa.
I go to my wife, let's get ready. Bang out a joint or two. Here I come. I'm in the beginning. Here I come. Here I come. Here I come. Bad boys, bad boys. They cut right to the guys in the subway tunnel with the flashlights. And I go, oh, maybe they're going to cut back to the roll call. 10 minutes goes by, 12. They get a bum. They get two bums. Bada bing. They give them a bologna sandwich that's drier than a mummy's scrotum. That's pretty dry. Next thing I know, the credits roll. No John DiResta. Guess why?
Why?
They make a 22 premiere episode into a 20-minute episode in repeats, and they get 4 extra 30-second commercials. I got cut.
Damn. That's almost...
Because I was in the first minute.
Oh, that's almost like going from ABC Disney to UPN. That's almost like being NYPD to Subway Transit.
I'm the last in line.
That's almost like going from the Howard Stern radio show to the Darren Carter Pocket Party podcast via Zoom. Oh!
2 points with a foul.
Yes. Here we go.
I'm the king of the underdogs.
Here's another question for you. Has he ever copped a feel with a potential suspect?
I only had 9 arrests in 12 years. And believe it or not, arresting somebody is a disgusting process because you're dealing mostly with homeless people in the subway that have bugs, AIDS, maggots living in their rotten sores. I mean, everyone thinks arresting somebody is some kind of fun, creative, or exuberant moment. Yeah. It's a complete hassle. So I arrested nobody. And I'm going to answer this question. I know that cop a feel,
cop a feel. Oh, yeah, cop a feel.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm going to answer this respectfully. In the 9 arrests I had in 12 years, I had to frisk people. It's disgusting. It's the most disgusting thing you could do. And everyone's like, oh, you got an arrest. How about fingerprinting a guy that stinks like rotting wet garbage? And now you have to get up close and roll his finger, and he stinks. It's the worst thing you could ever do. And the paperwork's always wrong because I never made an arrest. So I'd keep getting it thrown back. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. But there were New York City transit cops that were got in trouble for giving what they call an aggressive frisk.
Mm. Yeah.
So there were guys that did that. But it wasn't my thing.
Yeah. Got another one for you. It's funny. Whoever keeps writing these messages must have been horny, because I said that because they know that you've transitioned from cop to actor and your own sitcom and movies, and your side hustle was always dealing, besides stand-up comedy, it was being a woodworker.
Right.
And this person said, has he ever sexually harassed a customer? Which is stupid. I don't even know why they would.
No, dude, I have.
Yeah. Oh.
This just happened, and I'll warn anybody. I've never outright sexually harassed anyone ever, but there's 2 incidents. One was my wife said, hey, don't you have to meet a customer? I was in a dead nap, 7:30 at night. Don't you have to meet a customer? I said, yeah, I do on Fairfax down by, by Fairfax and 3rd.
Yeah.
And I threw on a flannel jacket. It was like December. I just grabbed it in bedroom flannel jacket. I get to this girl's house. We're going to design a bed frame.
Yeah.
We're measuring. I go, oh, it's really hot in here. Can I take my flannel off? Go right ahead.
Yeah.
I take the flannel off. We measure 1 or 2 more things. And she points to my jacket and goes, oh, my God, what is that? And it was my jacket perfectly sitting on her bed with my wife's bra sitting right on top like I put it there.
Oh, wow.
And she goes, what is that? I go, that's my wife's bra. And she goes, why is it here? I go, I must have just thrown the jacket on. I threw the jacket on.
You okay, buddy?
And it must have been, I threw the jacket on and it must have been caught inside the jacket. And she didn't believe me. She asked me to leave. I never heard from her again.
Oh, the whole thing just creeped her out, I guess. It creeped her out. The closest thing, I mean, you're in someone's home, you're looking at their bed, you're in their bedroom. Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
No, it is very intimate. I'm in a lot of intimate places.
Yeah, the closest I can relate to that is sometimes I'll put on a pair of pants and there'll be a dryer sheet that's like stuck in the pants. All right, we got another one for you. Ready? Do you have any wood jokes?
I'm not a carpenter. I'm an artist. I got that from my brother Jimmy. And there's another one. As soon as the project starts to get hard to do, instead of just a table with 2 benches, now she wants a wing. She wants the table to extend. They want to put a drawer. They want moving parts. And I'll explain to them that it's a hoopty scoop. Now we're moving into a hoopty scoop. And they go, what's a hoopty scoop? I said, in the NYPD, when you have the next 3 weeks off and it's Christmas Eve and you go off duty in 4 minutes and you hear somebody scream, officer, and you get stuck with an arrest that takes you 3 days to process. It was a hoopty scoop.
That was a hoopty scoop.
So I'll explain to the customers that the table you wanted that you described on the internet with me is making a very sharp turn towards a hoopty scoop.
I love it.
And that's telling them that it's difficult and that the price is about to go up. But they'll then use the word hoopty scoop.
Oh, I like that.
As a callback.
Here's something I found out. So recently we were up at the farm. House was built in the 70s, I believe. And there's a special closet that we cleaned out. And I'd never looked in that closet really. And I looked inside the closet and I looked up and it was beautiful. This beautiful wood. It reminded me of like when you walk up, when there's carpet behind some furniture that's never been walked on, like the carpet looks so fresh. I mean, the wood in this closet looked amazing. And I find out later it was referred to as the cedar closet. They called it a cedar closet. And I looked into, I was like, what is this cedar closet stuff? So I Googled it and apparently like it's a common thing, or maybe back in the old days or people would.
Yeah, does it keeps the clothes smelling nice or it has a certain humidity or temperature?
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like I didn't, it's, I want to know, have you ever heard of that? Have you ever had a special request to make something?
I've never made one, but I mean, I think I've heard of it in the back of my mind that somehow, some way. It's a very simple thing to do with planks. It's an easy thing, but it's everlasting. The little bit of work you have to put into it. That's what they usually do in steam rooms too.
Oh, wow.
You ever been in a steam room that's all red cedar or redwood?
Now that you say that, I can. Yes, that's what that is. Yep. There's a.
Were you ever in there with another man, fully naked?
By myself, Lake Tahoe. That's right, the Lake Tahoe Improv. I'd always go to the sauna and just we're not. How often can you go to a sauna unless you have one? But
right. And did you go in there naked with Howie Nave?
No. I went in there by myself and I wore my swim trunks.
Bob Golub?
No, sir.
That was a good gig.
That was a great gig. Hey, we'll be
greatest gig ever.
We'll be doing great gigs again, man. Until then, we'll keep doing the podcast. We'll keep doing stuff on YouTube. John, man, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank you again for coming on. Any last words, any words of wisdom, anything to get people through this time, this strange time?
I'm going to do a callback. With all the coughing, I felt like Hillary Clinton, but without the cankles.
Yeah.
No, just keep on keeping on. What could you do? You just got to keep on keeping on. My best friend is a Vietnam vet, and he's been in the first firefight where they were completely being swamped. Guys, his best friends are getting killed in front of him. And he says to the chief or the captain or the sergeant, when is our backup coming? And the sergeant looks at him and says, there is no backup. And my friend Peter says, then what are we going to do? And the sergeant says, it's got to keep fighting. You know what I mean? You got to just keep moving on.
Yeah.
Like Rodney Dangerfield, like an army tank. You just got to keep going.
We're done with this interview.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.